Yeah, now.
Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, dear sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra, Chicot. This is chapter 28, Maera. It's a person's name.
Yeah.
As the months passed, I shifted my focus from Chicot to my wedding. As soon as I had finally done what he wanted, he returned to his own devices. I never did understand why he was so vehement in seeing me married. And after being engaged with Maera for 6 months, I started to consider calling off the wedding. I had given myself an engagement period, not out of tradition, but simply because I wanted sufficient time to change my mind. As it gets in my thoughts, Chicot started saying as thus, while perusing his gems. The preparations of your wedding are progressing smoothly, aren't they? We were sitting inside the treasure room, looking at the precious gems to pick one to forge a wedding ring. And since Chicot was offering to make the ring for free, I thought it was a good opportunity to have a solid gem to add to my family's fortune. It seemed as much, though I do not understand why Mother insists on wasting so much money on a fancy wedding ceremony. She's even insisting on getting a priest into Little Sofia to bind us under the eyes of gods. As it is almost as if she's planning her own wedding. I said, picking up a large green gem. Maybe she should plan her own wedding, suggested Chicot. Surely you jest, I said, laughing. She is relatively young by dwarven lifespans, and she can still give birth to children. I am certain that she could easily find herself a middle-aged companion. Possibly a widower with children, said Chicot, thinking. By the gods, Chicot, you are serious. What's wrong with you? I said, alarmed. I could ask you the same thing. I'm simply thinking of your well-being. Considering the situation of the world, it would be beneficial to have a large extended family for support, he said. You certainly do make a convincing argument, though I cannot help but feel I am being manipulated again, I said, frowning. You may be more right than you realize, he added. More importantly, why have you been thinking of calling off the wedding with Maera? Because I don't love her, that's why, I explained. Chicot laughed heartily for some time. When he was done laughing, he said, I never saw you as quite the romantic, and truth be told, Maera doesn't love you either. You do have that in common, and besides, marrying for love is an alien concept in this continent. But you marry Gita for love, I said pitifully. Chicot opened his mouth to say something, but instead he sneered. And when he had finally picked out a gem for me, he said, You are my one and only friend in this world, Joseph, and believe me when I say this, marrying Maera is going to be good for you. She has more in common with you than you realize. The spring of the following year came, and I was married to Maera, and despite spending so much time with her, I was nowhere near in love with her. She was far too cold and unfeeling for my own taste, and for the wedding, Mother got a priest of Lara to sanctify our union. And normally after the ceremony, we were to consort for the first time, and instead we attended a second party thrown in our honor by Chicot. And this got took place in the manor, and it had only in the mayor's manor, and it had the only ballroom in the entire town, so it was perfect venue for celebrations. I made merry with the entire guests and drank a strange liquor provided by Chicot named blood wine. And the last thing I remember was clumsily dancing with Maera, and everything swirled around me, and I lost track of the time. And I cannot remember for the life of me what occurred. And I occurred in my room close to dusk the following day, and Maera was swinging a chair beside me, waiting for me to wake up, and I was both surprised and glad to see her there. That night we drank circling honey before consummating our union. And around midnight, I was overtaken by an unusual insomnia, and the grandfather's clock was off, and Maera was a heavy, noiseless sleeper, and the silence that surrounded me was enough to rouse me from my sleep. And I saw Chicot heading toward his storage room in the gardens. And I got lightly dressed and went to see Chicot, and before stepping a foot outside the garden, Chicot tugged at my robes and said, Don't you have anything better to do than to spy on me? Whatever would become of you if I were to up and leave one day? I'm sorry, I said, yawning. I was just curious, I thought, about why you wanted to see Sylvia and Hernan this late at night. Heh. I am glad that I'm not the only one who sees them more as people and not as hunks of porcelain and metal, said Chicot, smiling with satisfaction. Whatever do you mean? I said, yawning. Nothing. Go back to bed, ordered Chicot. The way he said it made me feel as if I were a mere child. And when I got to my room, the door opened for me, and Maera tucked me back in before going to sleep herself. She was a strange nymph indeed, and I was never able to understand her, though her attentiveness eventually won me over. She was like a second mother to me in this respect. Indeed, she was so reserved I hardly knew a thing about her, and even when I spoke with her, all her answers about herself were surprisingly lacking in detail. And in the end, I went to Chicot to ask him about her, and I found Chicot sketching new designs for combs and fabric brands and tiaras. And reading his design sketches were usually a bother, since when he got bored he would draw doodles on the border of the pages, and when he was designing something it was a bit hard to keep track of him. And he would start sketching in his study, but he would eventually wander all over the manor, and sometimes he would be found in the town or by the riverside. This time I was lucky to find him in the gardens, and looking up from his work, he said without much enthusiasm, "What do you want?" "I wanted to ask you something," I said. "I figure as much," he said, sighing. "I grow ever so bored of your endless interrogation. There will come a time when I won't be there to dispel all your doubts." Yes, you have been saying the same thing for the last 2 years or so. For now you are here, so humor me," I insisted, sitting beside him. "Fine," said Chicot, closing his notebook. "What do you want to know about Maera?" "I know where she is from and the name of her mother, her skills and whatnot. And I was there when you recruited her. Still, I feel like I have a stranger in my bed, and she never speaks of her feelings and dreams," I said sadly. "Not all ladies are women, Joseph," said Chicot, frowning. "What do you mean?" I said, alarmed. "I'm using woman as a concept. There are certain behaviors that are associated with women, such as being an emotional wreck or having lofty ambitions. Maera is more like a man, seeing as though she is grounded and well in control of her emotions. She knows what she wants and how to get it. She is also a man of her word, and I think it would be easier for you to understand her if you pretended you were talking to a man," explained Chicot. "That is not that's disturbing. I wish you hadn't told me that. Surely you jest," I said, getting up. "I just told you how I see things," said Chicot, returning to his work. "You were not help at all," I said angrily. Before leaving, I heard Chicot say, "I was not put in this world to make your life easier, my dear Joseph." Alright, so that's the end of that chapter. Bye bye and God bless.